It's hard to navigate any job search without some basic idea of how the whole thing works from the perspective of the decision makers. There are 4 main ways jobs are filled. An employee has left a position and it must be filled. Recruiters publish a job description and start interviewing for that slot. Second, a company needs new hires and new positions are created to fill those specific needs. Third, a resourceful job seeker spots a need for a specific position and convinces an employer of its great benefits and worth to the organization. And fourth, a decision maker spots an individual who would be an asset and then commits to finding or developing a place for him or her. To make your job search most effective, you should attack all of these scenarios with a well-thought plan. Start by establishing a realistic time frame. Finding a job will almost always take longer than you expect. It's best to set goals and deadlines for yourself. You know your budget, your career goals, and your tolerance for uncertainty better than anyone else. Remember that recruiters do not work according to your schedule. You may send in a resume that no one looks at for weeks, not because you aren't the most fabulous candidate out there, but because a big deadline came up or the decision maker's off on vacation. Sometimes it's because they just didn't feel like looking at resumes. But just because you can't control recruiters does not mean you can't establish a realistic time frame and specific goals for your search. Make them realistic based on things like the economy, your skills, abilities, and the finances, and also your dedication to this search. Set dated benchmarks to monitor your progress and set weekly goals. Depending on your industry, do each of the following every week. Talk to at least 2 recruiters or decision makers. Conduct at least 15 search-related conversations by email, phone, or in person with potential contacts. Make at least 5 follow-up calls on previous leads, either to check in or to update someone on your situation. And finally, remember the rule of 7. Sales and marketing executives know that it is rare to close a big deal on the first try. The rule of thumb is that the average prospect needs to hear your sales message at least 7 times before becoming motivated enough to buy. So think like a salesperson does. Does this mean that you'll get the job if you call a recruiter 7 times? Hardly, but it does mean that persistence pays because you're selling yourself and the buyer won't typically say yes after that very first connection. Follow up with all job opportunities because chances are you won't be offered a job on the first or maybe even the second try. Most corporations insist on numerous interviews before hiring, but be patient because persistence really does pay off.